3 engineers. My name is Sabyasachi and let's get started with Python in 10-minute series. In this session, we are going to learn about loops. And in that loops, we are going to first cover while loop, simple errors, what are infinite loops, and while else, right? So let's see actually what are loops. Now, if you have seen any other statements earlier, the if statements and all, they run only when the condition is true. But if at all you want the condition to be checked in a loop, in a sequence, then you require loops. So what we're going to do is we are just going to run it once in our collab. Okay, so what we have done here is we have set count equal to 1. This will show us the difference between if and while. Okay, so the first statement, if count is less than 5, then it's going to print the count. While in the while statement, this is called the condition, right? So now while count is less than 5, print I am a while and count is this. Now then what we are doing is count is equal to count plus 1. So we are incrementing the count by 1 every time the loop is going to run. So let's try to run it. Now you can see that the if statement ran only once, but the while statement first ran when it was 0. 0 is less than 5. Then it printed 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when 5 is less than 5, when that incremental happened and when the condition was 5 is less than 5, it was false, then it broke the loop. That is how the difference, that is what is the difference between if and while, right? So now it's very important to remember that we have to always either increment or decrement count, or else what happens is we get into a situation which we'll see is called as infinite loop, right? So now what we are doing here is number, we are initializing it to 1 while number is less than or equal to 10, right? What we are trying to do here is print the square of that particular number, and then we are incrementing number by 1. So it will run until it is 10. So it is 10 bar 2, it will run till then, and then it will exit, right? So you can see 1 square, 2 square, 3 square till 10, right? So we'll use while loops also in our code, and a few common errors that people normally do are like a few common errors that people do can be checked by using while loops, right? So let's go ahead and try running this code. Now what we're trying to do here is we are asking the input from the user by using the function input function. Now then in while what we are trying to do is we are checking while choice is not equal to y and choice not equal to n, then input, then what we are saying is, sorry, I didn't catch that, enter again. So that we are taking in an input. So if it is y or n, this will end, the while loop will end. If it is anything else, it is going to say, sorry, I didn't catch that. So now what happens is you can check for a few errors by using loops. Now this is the first time we're using input function. This is an inbuilt function, and now you can see that whatever statement the string was there between the parentheses comes as a question, and then you have a field to enter some string or variable or integer, and that gets saved into choice, right? So now I'm saying enjoying the course, let's just say I'm saying 7, right? So then it says it is not y, it is not n. So then it says, sorry, I didn't catch that, enter again, and that is also in an input. So it will do that until you give it a y or n. So when you give it y, it will end, right? Because we have not written any other statement after that, right? So you can use this for eliminating or checking for a few simple errors. Now, infinite loop is a situation where you have given a code. We are not going to run this code, but I'm going to show you. Now count is equal to 10. We have initialized the variable count to 10. Now while count is greater than 0, count plus equal to 1. So we are going to increment it. So now what is happening here is we should have actually decremented it, like decreased it, and then 0 is greater than equal to 0, and then it will end. Now it will keep on increasing, and the count will always be greater than 0. So this loop will keep on running, and this will take your RAM and disk RAM, and it will crash your program. So infinite loops are risky, and they just zap you off your RAM, right? So what other things we can do is we can use break statements. So now what are break statements? In break statements, whatever whenever the condition is false, then the loop breaks, right? So let's just say count is equal to 0, while there could be any statement, like it could be 1 equal to 1, or any true statement. We are going to do we have it here. Let's have it like true print count, right? Count plus equal to 1, right? So it will keep on printing whatever count is current count is, and if count is greater than or equal to 10, then it will break, right? So after that, this program will not run. So one way to stop your program from not continuously looping is use break statements on some condition where you want the loop to break, right? So these are break statements. And then we also have the while else loops. If you look at while else, they are very much similar to if else, but only thing is the else runs only when the condition is false, right? So now if you look at this particular piece of code, you can see that import random. So we have imported the module random. Now we have printed lucky numbers. 3 numbers will be generated. If one of them is 5, you lose. Like this is like a game playing. We're playing with the computer. Right now, count is equal to 0, while count is less than 3. So this is going to run how many times? 0, 1, 2. Right? It's going to run 3 times. Now, number, there's a variable. There we are saving the random dot randint. Now this is the function in the random module. So random dot randint 1 to 6. This is taking 2 arguments. So it is going to generate random numbers from 1 to 5, right? So now print number. So it is going to print whatever number was there, going to print it. Now, if number equal to 5, which means if number is equal to 5, print sorry you lose, because the program says if one of them, three random numbers will be generated, because it is going to run 3 times, and if one of them is 5, then you lose, like you're going to lose, right? System wins, right? Then only when after you lose, the game ends, and then we break. But now if it is not happening, it will not break and increment the counter, right? So it will increment. Now else, meaning whenever this becomes false, like when 3 is less than or equal to 3 and becomes false, and in that for the execution itself it will run the else statement. So the else runs only when the condition becomes false, then print you win, right? So let us try to run this. Okay, lucky numbers, 3 numbers got generated. If one of them is 5, you lose. The numbers generated were 6, 1, 4, so we won, right? Now let's run again. We did not get 5 was not generated. Yeah, so now what happened on the first iteration itself, 5 was generated and we lost, right? So this is how this runs, and we can also make some interesting loops using this, right? Now what we are trying to do is the same statement, we'll try to make it into a guessing game. Now what we are trying to do here is, from random we just imported directly the randint function, right? So we don't have to write random.randint. Now we are trying to generate a number from 1 through 10, right? So we have been generating 1, 10, guesses left is 3, so you get 3 guesses, right? Now what happens is, this random number is going to save something from 1 to 10 that we don't know yet because we're not printing anywhere. Now the game starts while guesses left is greater than 0, so you get 3 chances. Now guess is a variable is equal to int of input your guess. So input will call the will ask us for our input by giving a field, and that is getting converted into an integer. This whole of it is getting saved in the variable guess. Now for example, I have guessed 6, guess is 6, right? If 6 equal to random number, if guess is equal to random number, then print you win, right? Because I guess the game, guess the number. This is the guess game. Now then you win and then it breaks. Now guesses left is going to be decremented, minus equal to 1, so it is going to be 2, then it is going to be 1, and then it's going to be 0, and then this condition becomes false, right? And when condition becomes false, it says you lose. So you were not able to guess a number between 1 to 10 which was actually selected by the system, right? So let's try to run it. Okay, so it's asking me the guess. So I say, let me guess the number could be 9, and I enter. So it was wrong, so let me guess it again. I'm going to enter 5. I'm going to guess, enter 1. I lost, right? So this is like a game that you can play. Let's try to see if 4 is not the number, 2, then 3, lost, right? So basically we can go on forever, but then yeah, so you'll there's a chance where you guess the game, guess the number, and win the game, right? So this was while else, and this brings us to the conclusion of this particular session. In today's session, we have progressed a little more in our Python learning journey. In our next session, we will see a little more about loops, how to work with for loops, and the link to the free Python email course, the code snippets, and notes for today's session are in the description. If you like this video, please drop the top 3 learning in the comment section and do subscribe to the channel. Thank you.